Because as much of the world of storm chasing involves that adrenaline rush of facing off against nature, it also involves much more science and patience than it's given credit for. For every movie montage of the sky cracking above beautiful actors, there should be another montage of flickering screens, endless research, and pure scientific know-how. So, today on Weird History, hold on to your hat and flying cows as we embark on a whirlwind tour of the life of a storm chaser. But before we get swept too far, make sure to subscribe to the Weird History channel. After that, leave us a comment and let us know what other weather phenomena you want to hear about. All right, let's twister and shout. Picture this. You're standing in the middle of an endless plain, gazing at the horizon where a monstrous, swirling column of wind tears the sky apart. The air is electric, the sky an ominous shade of greenish-black. The atmosphere thrums with energy, and the ground vibrates beneath your feet like the entire earth is holding its breath. Welcome to the fantastical, perilous, and often misunderstood world of storm chasing. However, let's get one thing straight. Storm chasing is not merely an adrenaline-fueled romp through Tornado Alley. While Hollywood would have us believe that chasers spend their days driving madly through fields, dodging flying debris, and narrowly escaping the clutches of vengeful tornadoes, the reality is far less, cinematic. Much of a storm chaser's time is spent hunched over maps, peering at satellite images, and deciphering the whims of Mother Nature. It's like being a detective, but with clouds. Seasoned chaser Don Lloyd explains, "Forecasting the chase can take many hours of study and analysis of the atmosphere, surface conditions, and satellite images. This isn't just about thrill-seeking, it's a meticulous scientific pursuit. And chasers like Richard Lewis are sometimes additionally driven by the desire to make a difference." At the tender age of 16, Lewis witnessed the devastating aftermath of a tornado that struck without warning, and it left an indelible mark on him. He decided he wanted to get into researching storms to help the National Weather Service develop a better early warning system. For chaser Sean McGee, the desire and feeling transcends any physical feelings into something beyond us. He says that for him, it's a spiritual thing. There is a certain beauty to storms that I can't fully explain. Well, if anyone wants to start a tornado church, we think you found your first pastor. One of the most well-known storm chasers was Tim Samaras, a man whose dedication to storm chasing bordered on heroic or obsessive, depending on how you looked at it. Tragically, Tim and his son Paul and colleague Carl Young were killed in 2013 when a tornado crushed their car. But they weren't simply joyriding in the path of destruction. They were on a mission to study the lowest section of a tornado, the part that actually touches the ground and brings the ruckus, highlighting both the importance and the risk of the work storm chasers do. Don't get it? Twisted. This is science at its most exhilarating and dangerous. There are no safe samples or controls to conduct experiments on, but each year that passes grants new information for scientists to study, thanks to the brave boots-on-the-ground chasers, whose efforts help advance our understanding of these deadly phenomena. When thinking about the dangers of storm chasing, your mind might drift to images of colossal debris or even airborne livestock hurtling through the air. Everybody loves the twister cow. In reality, the most common threat isn't from the tornado itself, but from the mundane hazards of the road. In 2022, 3 University of Oklahoma students met a tragic end, not because they were swept up by a tornado, but because their vehicle hydroplaned in the rain and was struck by a semi-truck on their way home from a chase. Greg Tripoli, an atmospheric and oceanic sciences professor, gives his students similarly relevant advice. You're more likely to get hurt in a car crash than by a tornado. In fact, he stopped teaching a storm chaser class and taking his students into the field because his university stopped insuring them. In other words, if you looked to your right and saw a tornado, then looked to your left and saw a Honda Odyssey, drive away from that Honda Odyssey. There are unspoken, and some loudly spoken, rules in the storm chasing community, often learned through hard-won experience. Will Foster, another veteran chaser, shared some essential guidelines. Don't chase alone, avoid high-sitting trucks, and for heaven's sakes, don't blast your favorite tunes while barreling towards a storm. Night chasing? A resounding no. Chasing is a daylight endeavor, where visibility can mean the difference between awe and oblivion. It's highly important to adhere to these guidelines. Working as a storm chaser is being a part of a particular kind of community, like-minded folks with a formal regulating force beyond each other. And for all the risks, rules, and both physical and mental tolls, storm chasers ain't exactly swashbuckling adventurers with pockets full of gold. As Martin Lysius, chairman and founder of the Texas Severe Storm Association, points out, most storm chasers don't make any money doing what they do. They have to work other jobs and chase tornadoes in their free time. Like a lot of niche work, storm chasing is a labor of love, or even madness, akin to writing or performing magic. Even those who work with organizations like the National Oceanic and Atmospheric Administration's National Severe Storms Laboratory do so on a volunteer basis. Chasers might occasionally sell a dramatic photo or video to the media, but it's hardly a path to riches. Storm chasers are no strangers to long hauls. Don Lloyd mentioned spending up to 16 hours a day driving, covering between 600 and 800 miles in search of that elusive twister. Jennifer Brindley-Ubel, a storm-chasing photographer, estimates she racks up about 20,000 miles during a storm season. It's a lifestyle that requires not just passion for adventure, but a tolerance for monotony. And again, unlike a normal job where you are reimbursed for miles and able to write off your vehicle's maintenance, most of this is done on their own dime. Weather patterns don't really have a human resources department. As for the non-stop, pulse-pounding excitement promised by Hollywood movies like Twister, Lloyd candidly states, that movie was totally unrealistic. He went on to clarify that while the movie is fun, it's not the best representation of storm chasing, saying, "We aren't reckless, and it's unusual to see even one tornado on a given chase, much less 4 or 5. Other chasers suggest that they might witness a tornado once every 5 to 10 chases. The rest of the time is spent meticulously plotting potential paths, reading weather reports, and ensuring that escape routes are clear should things go awry. So yeah, it doesn't sound like the most exciting movie. Better add a few more tornadoes in there. Most storm chasers are actually aware of their limits. While the allure of getting up close and personal with a tornado is strong, most chasers know the importance of maintaining a respectful distance. As Don Lloyd explains, staying a discreet distance from a severe storm is a challenge. A chaser needs to stay close enough to clearly see the twister, but not close enough to get torn apart by intense rain and hail. This careful balance is crucial, as chasers are often the first on the scene after a disaster, transforming into impromptu first responders and helping where they can before emergency services arrive. Storm chasing isn't just for meteorologists and scientists. It's a hobby that attracts a diverse crowd, united by their fascination with the weather. Richard Lewis, a welder by trade, taught himself the intricacies of weather models and storm prediction, saying, "I didn't go to school for meteorology. I taught myself to read what the weather models show so I could pick a target." Melanie Metz, another chaser, advises newbies to take a class, or at least a free Skywarn course offered by the National Weather Service, to get the basics of storm spotting and safety. Geez, even the name of their introductory classes sound cool. Historically, storm chasing has been a male-dominated field, but that's changing. Organizations like Girls Who Chase are working to inspire and empower more women to join the fray. With nearly 18,000 followers on Instagram, the group offers virtual training and highlights the incredible storm photography of female chasers. They're proof that the call of the storm knows no gender. Heck, just look at Twister. Storm chasing is a blend of science, passion, and a whole lot of daring. It's about more than just the thrill of the hunt. It's a commitment to understanding and predicting one of nature's most formidable forces. While the dangers are real, they're often not the ones portrayed in movies, and thus don't deserve exaggerated romanticizing. With storm chasers, it's important to know that these folks are out working in our best interest, in an attempt to make sense of what was, for centuries, a mad phenomenon. Yes, storm chasers are constantly facing the mundane peril of long drives, bad weather, and straight-up boredom. But for those who hear the call of the wild sky, it's a pursuit that's as rewarding as it is exhilarating, even if there aren't nearly as many flying cows as we were led to believe. So what do you think? Would you ever be a storm chaser, or are you fine watching Twister at home? Let us know in the comments below, and while you're at it, check out some of these other videos from our weird history.